Hello, career designers. I am here to talk to you about some really amazing tips that you can use to identify organizations that you want to work for. So, my main recommendation, once you've got clarity about what you want to do and the location that you want to work in, you want to identify organizations that want to hire people like you. And so what we're going to do is take a look at 3 or 4 different strategies to identify organizations that you might want to work for in the future. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to start with LinkedIn. And so I am going to share my screen with you. And we are going to basically, I want to do some searches focused on international development type of organizations. So let's start with just putting in program officer, because that is a really common job title. So if you want to be a program officer in some international development organization, what you want to do, go to the search bar, put in program officer, whatever job title you're interested in, and then search for program officer in people. And let me show you why I recommend that you do that. So first of all, LinkedIn is going to show the people that are your first, second, and third level connections. The more people you're connected with, the wider array of people that you'll see here. And so this is one of the reasons why it is important and why you do want to connect with people that, as many people as it makes sense for you to. So these are the people that you are going to see if you've logged in as me. And so one of the things that you can do is see where people with the job title program officer are working, right? So the other thing that you can do is filter by locations. So let's focus on the Washington, D.C. area. And basically this gives you the people with program officer in the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. And you can start looking at the organizations and then adding those organizations to a spreadsheet. So I also want to introduce the spreadsheet that I recommend that my clients use. And in another session, we'll talk about exactly how to use them. But this is the organization spreadsheet that I recommend that people use, so that you can put the name of the organization, the website. These 4 columns, you'll be ranking them, and then you can make notes and also put in any contact information that you find. So for example, let's say that international reproductive health sounds interesting to you, so you can put that person, not in the notes, move that over to the organization. And then Janet Holt is the person that you've identified, and you want to note that you have found her in LinkedIn. And so this way you don't spend a whole lot of time looking at people's profiles. What you're really wanting to do is focus on quantity, not quality right now. And really your target number is to get 40 organizations. That way you can start ranking them. And then what comes up at the top are going to be the organizations that you really want to focus your efforts on. Okay, so that's how to use the spreadsheet. And so basically this is the straightforward tip: job title, and then by location. Also, if you have another type of network that you might want to use, for example, Peace Corps, let me show you another way of doing that. So either Peace Corps or a university, something like that, you can put in past companies. and select, so that often includes volunteers for Peace Corps, and then you click on apply, and then you've got an even more focused set of results here. All right, I'm gonna move myself all over the place. So I mentioned colleges and universities. Let me talk about another way of using LinkedIn for alumni search purposes. So let's just put in Georgetown, because we know that Georgetown has got a lot of international focused people as their alumni. And so you go to your college or university page, you click on alumni, and then you can again focus on the people in the location you want to work in. And then we just put in international development. And then again, we can see where they work. So a lot of them are working at Georgetown University, Department of State, World Bank, Deloitte, Booz Allen, USAID, World Bank Group, IDB, IMF. And so this is another way to just kind of like very quickly identify different organizations where you know that you've got some kind of connection there. And so that is strategy number 1 and 2 for LinkedIn, is the general search and then the alumni search. And one thing that I just want to say again, just looking to see who's here, that your most effective way of getting a job is to have someone inside the organization advocating for you. And so when you get to the point where you start networking, you want to be focused on the people that are most likely to help you. So by keeping note of the people that you find on LinkedIn, because people who are on LinkedIn are generally focusing on professional networking, so they're not always responsive, but they're there for a reason. And then obviously any other network or alumni situation, that's a really great way of going to. Okay, so next I want to just really quickly bring in another type of organizational search. And again, this is Indeed. And what this shows, so LinkedIn shows you the organizations that have people with your job title there. Indeed will show you the organizations that are advertising for that job title. So we go back into program, not program, that is the wrong kind of thing, program officer, and we want Washington, D.C. Click on find jobs. And so not all of this is going to be international development, but again, it's just a real quick and dirty way of seeing what kind of organizations are looking for people with your skills and experience. So, and then finally, well, no, not quite finally, penultimately, Idealist is also a really great resource for, especially for social impact kind of jobs. And so what I recommend is that we go to organizations in the Washington, D.C. area. And it really helps when you spell it correctly. Search. And the thing that I love about Idealist is that, you know, again, you can search by location, default radius. So if you're in Washington, D.C., for example, and you're willing to commute maybe 5 miles, then you can put that in there. And then you can also focus on the issue items that are, issue areas that are most important to you. And so this would be economic development, for example, and then human rights and civil liberties, and international relations, and immigrants and refugees. Why not? And so with those main categories, we've got over 2,000 organizations that that you might be interested in. So go through that, pick the ones. And again, what I recommend is just going through this really quickly, even setting a timer for 10 minutes. Start with LinkedIn for 10 minutes, Indeed for 10 minutes, Idealist for 10 minutes. And if that doesn't get you to 40 organizations, there's one last thing. And that would be to go to Google and look for related associations. So we'll just put in International Development Association, Washington, D.C. And so International Development Association at World Bank, that's not exactly what we're looking for. Well, we're looking for something like the Society for International Development. So this is a membership organization of, or association of organizations in the international development sphere. And so one of the things that you can do is go to, for example, their institutional members. And so a lot of associations will have websites and then will have a page with their membership on there. And as you can tell, this is far more than 40 organizations. So by just taking these steps, you'll be able to identify organizations that are a good fit for you. And then once you've got a list of 40 organizations, then you can start ranking them by the ones that are most likely to hire you. So I hope that this was helpful, and if you are interested in more information, then you can send me an email, and I am either happy to talk to you or send you my organization spreadsheet. These instructions are also in my career design studio, under the identify organizations, my organization's activity. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Please leave a comment and or subscribe. And I look forward to hearing from you at some point in the future.